What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. Welcome to Fightful. It is July 12th, 2023. I will be joined very shortly by Pawlowski of Sour Graps. It's your AEW Dynamite post-show review brought to you by athleticgreens.com/Fightful. Right out of the gate, want to encourage you guys, leave a thumbs up, get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. We'll tell you how to do that in a bit. That shapes the direction of our show and what we spend most time talking about. A lot of stuff happened on this show. A lot of stuff happening in the wrestling world in general. Kind of easy on the schedule throughout the remainder of July. We do have Slammiversary coming up this weekend. We got Blood and Guts next week as well. But we've had a lot of stuff over on FightfulSelect.com. We reported that Kota Ibushi would be joining AEW. That did happen. Today on FightfulSelect.com, we reported that WBD is in favor of an expanded AEW pay-per-view schedule. We had a significant update on those talks with Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW. Just a ton of stuff. News on the argument that happened after WWE Raw. Just a ton of stuff just in the last couple days on FightfulSelect.com. Updates on Johnny Gargano, Bray Wyatt, why he's not around, Becky Lynch. It is the best $5 you will spend in pro wrestling. Even if you don't like exclusive wrestling news, you can go over there and listen to a number of great podcasts, including our Q&A shows. This week alone, I'll be doing one. Graps will be doing one. But if you want to get your question or statement in here on this show, donate a super chat here at youtube.com/Fightful or at humperchats.com. Humperchats is a Streamlabs platform. It allows us to keep a little bit more of it. And you can send your questions or statements throughout the day, and our moderators will gather those, send them our way. We've got post shows almost every night but Sunday. And then we got great shows like Wrestling Perspective, Grapsity, The Spotlight, Listing Your Boy, all that good stuff. But right out of the gate, we got a humper chat from our friend JP. Says, SRS, today someone asked if you ever get annoyed by by knowing all the surprises that are coming in wrestling, and you said that you are surprised sometimes. What is the most enjoyable surprise that came up that you were unaware of, and how long ago? So it's hard to really quantify that. One of them was Johnny, even though I got the heads up about 60 seconds before he walked out. It wouldn't have been enough time to really publish anything, and I'm not just going to arbitrarily tweet out a spoiler like that. But I'll just take it back to just a couple weeks ago or just over a week ago, John Cena. I didn't expect that to happen. I had been told that surprises were coming, but I wasn't expecting that. Parker says, I'll be honest, wasn't expecting Pac. Good twist. Here's another plug for FightfulSelect.com. We did the List in Your Boy Rec Spec List Goes On episode. My two picks were Pac and Kota Ibushi. We knew Kota Ibushi, but we'll be getting into it. Adam Weller says, I'm autistic. Tonight felt like a neurodivergent audio nightmare. Music overlaps, commentary, and the Archer clips that Excalibur spoke over, etc. But we've got situations like that are a little bit harder to focus on in some situations. That I've got ADHD. I'm also a neurodivergent fella myself, so I definitely feel your pain in that regard. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the show. Tom LaValle says, terrific show. Swerve versus Wayne was amazing. We're getting the Golden Elite for Blood and Guts. Let's effing go. Shot Kid says, percentage Mercedes shows up next week. If we get her on the same show as Ibushi in Blood and Guts, I may spontaneously combust. I think it's possible, but I'm not counting on it, right? They're putting a lot into Blood and Guts as opposed to, hey, somebody's going to show up and do something. I still think Mercedes should have been the one that showed up in January, but she didn't do that. And I think that they kind of learned their lesson there. And when they're going to tease somebody like they teased tonight, they at least I thought they both delivered. I thought they both made sense. I'll talk to you more about that very, very shortly. But we kicked off this show with Chris Jericho defeating Kommander. So Chris Jericho beating Kommander. I got some mixed feelings on this. The match, first off, good. You know Jericho's going to win, but sometimes that's the problem. You end up getting a lot of people in AEW that are like, wow, they're going to do all this cool stuff, all these cool moves, but they ain't going to win. And how many times have we seen that? Dante Martin was that for a while. AR Fox was that for a while. Kommander is that. Sometimes it's any number of, sometimes it's Bandito. Even though Bandito was picking up wins for a while, it becomes a lot of, wow, this person can do incredible things, but they can't win. Now, in some situations, I'm glad that it cost people the match. And there were a couple clunky spots here, but all in all, I thought the match was pretty good. But Jericho's going to win. I like Jericho working this style of opponent as well, but you knew Kommander wasn't going to win this. This wasn't his to win. It was his to do cool stuff and end up eating the pin to set up for what they had afterwards. But Jericho gave him an awful lot. Like, Jericho was really helping highlight Kommander in this situation. So I like that. Zach Schimmel says, I hope Alex is okay. He's having technical issues. He's working on it right now. He's rebooting and all that stuff right now. So we'll see. Otherwise, I'm just gonna solo tonight. I'll keep all of you all to myself. How about that? Jericho defeating Kommander. There were some spots that, again, I thought looked a little goofy, like the 450 that Kommander kind of stopped on. I don't know what the miscommunication was up with there. I honestly would have been okay if that code breaker pinned Kommander, because I'm like, damn, sometimes those moves need to finish people. Like, sometimes those secondary finishers or those former finishers need to finish people. Listen, Alex isn't here, but I guarantee you he's going to say that he hates Chris Jericho winning this match. But after this, Don Callis comes out, sweet talks Chris Jericho. He shows him a video from their days, like almost 30 years ago. And Chris Jericho is shown in the ring. Like, they both got these flowing locks, and Bad News Brown is there. And Jericho says, you know what? I thought that I was maybe off on this, and maybe I am. Bad News Brown told me back then I should stick with you, and I didn't do it. Maybe I made a mistake there. Maybe we should do this. Well, Jake Hager approaches Jericho backstage and is like, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, Jericho. What's going on, buddy? No, don't trust Don Callis, not him. Well, Chris Jericho says, you know what? Maybe you do need to do your own thing. And Jake Hager's like, man, listen, I know you all have history, but we've got history, and we've actually been around each other the last 10 years. He's like, I saved your life 10 years ago. It's like, you recruited me to this company 4 years ago. I left an MMA career for that. And he conveniently left out the part where he cashed in Money in the Bank on Chris Jericho and beat him. You don't got to bring that up. Don't got to bring that up. But Jake Hager did, as Huron's Gaming said, made me feel a little something there. And him handing over the hat. Oh, that was a nice touch. I think the hat. The hat signifies the official breakup of Jericho Appreciation Society, and it needed to break up. Nobody's going to benefit from that anymore. Specifically, Garcia and Sammy Guevara, who got a big win over Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin in the Blind Eliminator Tag Tournament. I kind of thought that Orange Cassidy and Darby might end up winning this, but the more I think about it, okay, you're going up against Cole and MJF. They are by far baby faces, so you need a bit of a heelish team. Daniel Garcia can obviously play the heel role excellently here. Sammy can whenever he needs to, right? But this match I thought was very, very good. I thought that Darby showing Sammy a little bit of respect for how he's conducted himself since they had their matches was good, because Sammy has been all right since then, right? Like, Sammy has done significantly better than he had been. He's making a conscious effort. Like the prospect of fatherhood seems to be changing him in some regard. So I like that that's playing out in front of us, but also the Yas breakup is playing out in front of us. So we're seeing these like conflicted feelings, and where Daniel Garcia is this guy who we all know is a phenomenal wrestler, but for the last year or so, he has had his identity as a sports entertainer. And now the guy that led him is like, fly free, do your own thing. So I'm excited to see the conflicting aspects of Daniel Garcia's personality, because if you follow him on Twitter, you know he's a brilliant guy, like especially for a social media age. The way that Daniel Garcia like gets it and is able to relate to a certain group of fans, especially in a social media age, is really, really great. He's got an amazing sense of humor. He has incredible aggression in the ring and believability. But when he does that dance, I believe him. I believe that too. So nothing but love for Daniel Garcia. One of the things I liked was Garcia getting under Darby's skin. And when Darby gets whipped into the ropes, he just he went ahead and did the suicide dive out onto Daniel Garcia. I really actually liked the interference finish of this, because we have seen this Swerve Darby thing play out. And you got Prince Nana out there. By the way, Prince Nana has been fantastic. What a career resurgence for Prince Nana. Like, the way that he fades into the background, but at the right time he highlights himself, is very underrated. He is able to showcase performers exceptionally well without overwhelming the screen, right? And I think that is an underrated aspect of managing in pro wrestling. Sometimes, like if you're Stokely Hathaway, sometimes your strength is sometimes that, but also being this great voice and this great personality and this great sense of humor. But I think what Prince Nana did was good. And it was very clearly a set up finish interference thing. Like, the parties involved, like Daniel Garcia, Prince Nana, and Swerve, had this calculated beforehand. And they distract Darby. He gets kicked in the head after thwarting that and ends up getting pinned. It surprised me a little bit. Sammy gave him the loss. I liked this. I thought it makes an awful lot of sense to move into the finals. It puts over Guevara and Daniel Garcia, who needed it a lot more than Orange Cassidy, winning all the time, and Darby, who is perpetually over. Aaron says, I hate that a few weeks ago Jericho was up in arms with the thought of Sammy doing his own thing. Now he's like, oh, it's fine. Well, maybe we haven't seen the end of that, Aaron. And I agree. If this is the end of the road for that, I think there is something to be left there. But also, I don't think that everything needs to have like a violent, dangerous split, right? Like, I don't think everything needs to have one of those brutal endings, so to speak. But I'm with you there. I would like some resolve to what we saw there. Vicky says, SRS, any word on Sting's face? Fightful heals me each day. Great show, but too much callous. Alex, you rule. Gabagool. Alex is great. Yeah, I can understand if there's too much callous for you. Sting is healing up. That spot was not a good one, Vicky. I'm a big Sting fan myself, but whoo, that spot he did. Who told him that was a good distance to jump from? Who told him that was a good idea? Who told him that was a smooth move? Bad idea. Bad idea here. Hook attacks Jack Perry from the truck. Lord Zypher says, I know it will not happen, but I can't get the idea of Big Bill as Jack Perry's heater out of my mind. Maybe. I'm interested to see how that works out, because we're about to talk about Big Bill. They've stumbled onto something very special there. But, Lord Zypher, what I want to know is, are y'all with me here? It's got to be Anna Jay driving the getaway car, right? Like, she hasn't necessarily been around doing a lot lately. And it would make an awful lot of sense after he mentioned, having the hot girlfriend and yada, yada. She ain't wrestled since the Owen Hart quarterfinal on June 21st on that episode of Rampage in Chicago. So it's been a few weeks. That's around the time, we started to get the change in Jack Perry. So it'd make an awful lot of sense to me that she is the driver. She's ready to see her man stand up on his own. And hopefully that will be the catalyst for change in her as well, because the I'm going to choke you out thing, Wasn't for me. It didn't hit for me. It wasn't a big one for me. I'll tell you what I love that they do. The AEW Collision recap. I think they should have done this for Dark and Elevation and even Rampage. Give me a minute and a half, 2 minutes maybe. This is what happened. Bam, you see Archer killing somebody. You see a tag team win. You see Keith Lee beating somebody. And if you're running heavy on time on your show, you can just cut it. That way, you've got that built in, and you tell these people, hey, watch this show. It's good. Or if people already aren't going to watch the show, they're going to go, cool, I know what happened. I can't say that I don't know what happened. And you're able to promote those shows. And you have some flexibility with your time on the shows. So I like that they did that an awful lot. I am definitely saving Harley Cameron's rap class for hopefully when Alex is here. He said he was booting up a few minutes ago, so we'll see. We're gonna test his equipment, so to speak, and hopefully he'll be here. Otherwise, y'all are stuck with me tonight. Get those super chats. Get those humper chats in. This week, guys, we're going to drop a very short interview with Pretty Deadly. We didn't get a lot of time at Money in the Bank to talk to these talent, as you saw with the LA Knight interview that we dropped, but they're still fun. They're still a good time. But something that did get a lot of time, Grapsy's interview with Athena. If you haven't checked that out, they got almost an hour with her last week. You're going to want to check that out. One of our most viewed interviews in quite some time, at least in the last couple months, like Osprey. So check that out, guys. A lot of great things that she talked about. Her WWE departure, talked about her ROH run, AEW, the Jody Threat stuff. Just a ton of stuff there. Jamal says this is the classic boy band split. It kind of is. Like they're going off on their own, but one's going to stand out, right? Somebody's got to be Justin. And somebody's going to be Chris Kirkpatrick. Who's going to be Chris Kirkpatrick here? I mean, or you can be the Backstreet Boys. None of them really succeeded solo, right? Sawyer said, even though Hook's obviously the babyface, keep running, Perry delivery was shoot terrifying. It is. Like, you look at him and he's not necessarily, compared to other pro wrestlers, physically imposing. If you saw him in person and he was tossing sons of bitches ass over tea kettle, it would be. But, you know, it works. It really, really works. What else we got here? Oh, man. The Nick Wayne video. My God almighty. You want to talk about immediate emotional investment. Nick Wayne. They show this great video of Nick Wayne. And I mean, I had heard there were some hurdles in doing this, in putting this on the air and all this stuff, because they had to wait till he was 18 to get a lot of that. They had to use archive footage and other companies' footage before they could do that, before he turned 18. But he told the story of why things are happening, how things are going. When he was 9 years old, his father, Buddy Wayne, who trained Darby Allin, actually trained Brian Alvarez as well, started to train him. And they trained together for 2 years. And he said at that point he was training for himself to be a pro wrestler. And unfortunately, at the age of 11, he lost his father. But Darby always stuck by his side. And after that, he was wrestling for a lot more than himself. It was also his father's legacy, his father's memory, what his father could do. And now when he wrestles, it's for him. Oh my God, that was amazing. This kid is 18 years old. He just turned 18. He got his contract offer when he was 17. And he's had absolute slappers with Swerve. I'll tell you, one of the big winners out of this match is Defy, because a lot of people are going to find Defy and the stuff that's went on between Swerve and Nick Wayne there, and they're gonna really like what they find. They're gonna absolutely love what they see, and understandably so, because Nick Wayne and what Nick Wayne is going to do is pretty amazing. Like, you can tell physically he's going to fill out. Like, he looked back at Seth Rollins when he was Tyler Black. you see some of that. And I'm not saying that Nick Wayne's going to become Seth Rollins. I hope so, right? Like that's what you want. But you see these guys start to fill out. He is there as an 18-year-old. Buddy, I couldn't keep a job when I was 18. He's about to travel the country on a global scale, like a global televised show. Unbelievable, man. I'll tell you one of those things that but Ryan Caccini says he needs to disappear for a year and needs to add size. Honest convo needed with Nick Wayne. Buddy, he's 18. Needs to add size. His gimmick is that he is an 18-year-old pro wrestler, Ryan. My friend, what are we talking about here? What? Listen, I very much appreciate the super chat, Ryan, and I respect your opinion, but his gimmick is that he is an 18-year-old wrestler. That maybe he is in this too young. That he is like maybe he's starting this too early. Those are the questions you got to be able to ask. Does he like that? What you're asking is quite literally what Excalibur can say. It's what Taz can say. Taz can sit there and say, you know what? Before I let Hook do it, he needed to add some size. That's what Nick Wayne should do, et cetera, et cetera. That's the thing. That's the question. I'll tell you one thing that might help with that. All the benefits you can get from AG1. I've long sang the praises of athleticgreens.com/Fightful, specifically AG1. Vitamins and minerals, pre and probiotics to help keep you from getting sick, that phytonutrient blend, the digestive support that regulates your digestive system, the immunity support, the adaptogens, plus that energy and metabolic support. I'm going to tell you how it's affected me personally. My digestion is way better with AG1 through athleticgreens.com/Fightful. I don't get sick nearly as much. I got those pre and probiotics, that immunity support. I take a lot less caffeine throughout the day because I've got that energy and metabolic support. My metabolism has increased and improved tenfold since using AG1. And as I always say, you want to be drinking your multivitamin. Right now, you get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free travel packs when you go to athleticgreens.com/Fightful and get AG1. Whether I'm at home or on the road, 1 scoop or 1 pouch, 8 ounces of water, drink it, you're good. athleticgreens.com/Fightful. Sawyer sends us a chat and says, will Nick Wayne be next? Let's hope not. I don't know what you mean by that, but he is all elite. He is officially all elite. I mean, we knew that he was signed quite a while back. We knew that he was going to be joining the company. But this match was just incredible. Swerve gave a lot here. And I know that publicly facing, people would be like, oh, well, Swerve didn't have to make him look good. He just good. Well, yeah, of course. But you can sit there and tell what kind of a ring general Swerve is. Specifically, situations like the Hiroshi Tanahashi match, where Tanahashi slipped and Swerve immediately got up, made up for the time, took a ring general stance, and worked through that spot to where it wouldn't look like goofiness, right? That way it wouldn't look bad. You could tell a lot in this from a positioning standpoint, a footwork standpoint. Swerve was taking charge here, and you ain't got to do a whole lot to make Nick Wayne look good, but he still did. He gave a lot in this match, and AEW are so fortunate to have a Swerve Strickland. They are so fortunate to have this guy. And if MJF weren't in the middle of his reign, we'd be talking about Swerve Strickland possibly in the world title picture. At this point, I think he should be the one to dethrone Orange Cassidy down the line as well. He's incredible. He's helped the careers of, Trench, long gone, but the best he was ever going to do was to be a crony for Swerve. I know he went to bat for Parker. That's done. But he's reinvigorated Brian Cage, got people interested in him. Khan and Toa Leona are in a good spot now because of him. Prince Nana is in a better spot because of him. And now Nick Wayne is in a better spot to because he's working with Swerve. Sawyer said, sorry, My Nick Wayne chat was in reference to guys like Dante Martin and Kommander always losing. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that, like, because that's what I had mentioned earlier. As I look at that, I'm like, shit, man. Huh. It's he could be, but I think that if they started him off losing a lot, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But I think that he needs to show that he can pick up some wins as well. But they might have him go on a bit of a losing streak early on and then pick up the big surprise win type of thing. 1, 2, 3 kid style. Albert Pont says, Nick is third generation. Who is his grandfather? So it's actually his grandfather on his mother's side, Moondog Ed Moretti. So there you go. FYI, there you go. Ryan Caccini says, don't oversaturate is what I meant. Hey, if you want him to add size, why not saturate? Get it? That's a saturated fats joke, guys. Damn, I'm good. Don't y'all miss Alex? Don't y'all miss Alex? I'm sure he's right around the corner, right? Alex is just waiting. Just waiting. Hugh Janus says they used to do the banner with the dark results, but seeing the footage adds context that was lacking with just seeing who won the matches. Yeah, it absolutely does. Being able to see like just the finishing move goes an awful long way in a situation like that. So I wish that they would have done that. Arzaz says, would love to see a Nick Wayne phenom story like we see in sports. Who will help this ball of potential bloom and who will benefit from it? Yeah, I would really like that. Like you see Stokely Hathaway, Prince Nana, others like lining up to perhaps manage this guy and see what he can do. But we got somebody here, guys. Alex Pawlowski.
Hello, coming to you live from my wife's laptop.
Yeah, back off that mic just a tad there, pal. You sound like you're ordering from a Dairy Queen.
Yeah, I'd like the Blizzard cookie dough.
Oh, it's a lot better now. It's a lot better now. So we've ran through specific parts of Dynamite. There were plenty of things that I definitely wanted you to chime in on.
Yeah.
One of them being Nick Wayne's debut with Swerve. Just excellent from a technical standpoint. I loved the fisherman suplex and then the bounce up into the bridge as well. But I thought that Swerve did a fantastic job as a ring general in this match. Like he really stood up and made Nick Wayne look as good as possible in this situation.
He's the perfect guy to do it because he's done it in the past on the indie scene. They did in Defy Wrestling. They were, if you haven't seen their Defy Wrestling thing from last year, I mean, go watch it. They're perfect together. They worked really well. It was Swerve was the absolute right guy to have the first match with Nick Wayne. And Nick Wayne is a natural. Like you can be really good at this and not be this good at this at 18 years old, just having turned 18 years old. At like 18 years and 2 days, you could it's very possible that you can be good at this, but not this good this early. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I love that they're like dropping him in immediately with these really cool vignettes. Great job by him of just telling his story as naturally as possible. And also like putting him in a really like this was the in-ring main event of the night. Like, it's a crowd that wouldn't probably know him very well, and they immediately connected with him, and he won him over with all the stuff he does in the ring. The Swerve story is going to be great. This is one of those things where as your report on Fightful Select this week said, they're planning on doing Keith Lee versus Swerve at some point. So for now, it seems like it's going to be Keith Lee and Darby versus Nick Wayne and maybe Keith Lee. I mean, Nick Wayne and Darby versus Swerve. And after last week, like maybe they're trying to put them back together again. Like all the King's Horsemen and all the King's Men couldn't put Swerve and Keith Lee back together again. But I don't know.
Mr. Acosta says Hope Wayne is more 1, 2, 3 kid and not Action Andretti. I think if they could do it over again, Nick Wayne would have been the person to get that surprise win instead of Action Andretti.
Yeah.
And Sheldon says, nice seeing AEW keeping Defy Wrestling continuity regards to Swerve and Nick. Swerve loses the Defy title to Nick. Then Swerve tells Nick that his first AEW match would be against him for the Defy title, but he lost it to Kenta. I would love to see some aggression out of Swerve in that too. Like, I was trying to highlight you. I was trying to highlight this promotion, and you went and screwed it up because you can't handle the pressure. Yeah. You can't do it. And then look what happened. You got to the big show and you lost there too. Swerve is really good. There you go. There you go. Oh, buddy, by the way.
Yeah.
I hope you're ready for Big Show or Paul White and Satnam Singh to come nose to nose at All In.
That's a thing that's going to happen.
It certainly is. But yeah, as far as Defy goes, Sheldon sent a very generous super chat. Big thank you, Sheldon. I love that as well because Swerve is, again, he is the perfect person to put in the ring with Nick Wayne because, again, Nick Wayne doesn't need help looking good. But the fact that they have that experience together, and that very clearly that is a comfortable position to be in after they've worked together since February of last year over a variety of matches. And we're talking like a few months ago, they worked a 35-minute match. Like they've been in the ring. They have been in the ring together for over an hour all together now. Yeah. That goes a long way.
It does.
Love that. What else do we got here? Grayman Media says SRS Nick has one match in AEW. We haven't seen him versus Jeff, MJF, Chris, Christian, Kenny, Phil, Jay, Darby, Jack, or Sammy. He's got a lot of angles. Yes, I agree. Nick Wayne versus Jeff Jarrett. Book it immediately.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be fantastic. Just, a couple of multi-generational stars there. But I appreciate that, Grayman, and you're right. Bizarro Big L says Nick Wayne already has the crowd behind him. I need another match for him next week. I know I'm spoiled seeing blood and guts, but I want to see the kid with a pumped crowd behind him. Wouldn't mind him getting Darby and Hook behind him. All hail Queen Mario. As far as next week, I don't want him to disappear. I'd rather him take losses repeatedly on TV than get the big 1, 2, 3 kid win.
Yeah.
Than just disappear. Yeah. Action Andretti just disappeared, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. I like this stuff versus Scorpio over the weekend, but on the Fightful Select post show with Kate, we were talking about how that was we both thought at the time, oh, what a cool spot for this kid. Not only does he get the victory over Jericho, but it's a ready-made feud with the veteran who can't stand that he lost to the rookie. And you can just do Jericho versus Action Andretti and make the kid's life a living hell until he finally agrees to wrestle the kid again. And then the kid goes over it this time to actually seal it. What an awesome thing. What a cool thing to do. And then they just never did it.
We got Skills That Kills saying Nick Wayne to win the All-Atlantic title from Swerve. Absolutely enraging Swerve for a program. Well, it's the international title now, but I don't know if Orange Cassidy's going to lose that anytime soon.
It does not.
But if he does, I mean, they are very clearly positioning him to have a special. I mean, not positioning him. He's had a special run. He's already had a special run. He's out there killing it. Yep. If at this point, I'm like, damn, he should probably have it a full year. Can't believe he hasn't. I can't believe it hasn't been a full year yet.
Yeah, it feels like it.
It's one of those things where I know a lot of people want to book the end of Orange Cassidy's reign, but it's one of those where I still think it's a strong reign. It's just a good reign right now, and it is there. We're going to defend this on TV a lot belt, and I'm completely fine with that.
The only thing is that it runs the risk for some of being just like, it's a given. We don't really get up for anything like this because we know this is just the same. We're going to see a lot of this, and we've just seen so much of it. I think a shock title loss would be a really good thing for his character, the title itself, and whoever beats him.
Guys, get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. We would greatly appreciate that. A reminder, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. If you like what Alex has to say, maybe you like, or maybe you will absolutely hate what he has to say Mondays and Fridays. But I promise if you hate it, you can just scroll past.
Yes,
it's okay. It's not mandatory viewing or anything. Just $5 a month. You get a bunch of shows, over 40 extra shows a month, a lot of specialized stuff as well. We had a lot of news on there about Blood and Guts. We had a lot of news about Nick Wayne's creative for the last several weeks as well. So check it out. The best $5 in the business. It's how we are able to bring you shows like this. Now, during this show or during this AEW Dynamite, I got a plethora of text messages from Righteous Reg of Grapsity, who is going to host Ask Grapsity on Thursday. Subscribe to Fightful Select for that. Get your questions in there. And they were things like greatest segment of all time, generational talent.
Yes.
Better than Rakim.
Wow.
Yeah, these were things that Righteous Reg all said about Harley Cameron and Harley Cameron's rap class.
Yes.
I mean, he was comparing Harley Cameron to Guru of Gangstar, to A Tribe Called Quest.
Wow.
He was,
that's high praise.
know, right?
That's high praise.
It is.
Yeah.
And he said, man, the only thing that would make this better was if she also produced it.
Right.
And I said, okay, Reg, I will make sure that I say all these things on the air. But he's like, make sure you say them on the air because I can't wait until Grapsity Saturday at noon. Because he's playing up a character, right? You know, you do that all the time, Alex.
Oh, all the time. It's entirely a gimmick. The whole thing's a gimmick.
He's playing up this character where he thinks that he says this segment isn't good. But to me, privately, he's just saying that it is the greatest thing of all time.
It's so funny because privately, he is sending you all of these messages, but publicly he's saying that jail time is required for everyone involved in making it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It is very weird that he said that.
Yeah.
Harley Cameron did go full Eminem Godzilla. Like there are some people that are actually surprised by her music chops. She is a musician. This is a real thing. I found it very entertaining, legitimately. I did not not see a problem with it at all. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was supposed to be one of those things that you look at and you would think it was supposed to be ironically bad. Then she did it and you're like, all right, she did that pretty good.
Right. And I thought I had the same thought. I was like, I don't know if this is good or not. Let me check with Righteous Reg. And like now he DM'd you different things, but I was like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna defer to my man Righteous Reg on this. And I went to his Twitter feed, his public Twitter feed, and I was like, I guess that wasn't any good because I trust Righteous Reg on things like this.
And well, I mean, Righteous Reg did preface all of this by saying, SRS, I know you know a lot more about music than me. But and I was like, listen, man.
He did say that.
All right, man. Whatever you want. Ruby Soho defeated Skye Blue. Skye Blue keeps improving. Eloquent says she should have wanted her and Athena in a final. Athena and her would have made an awful lot of sense because of, Athena's on this hot streak, and also she's been whipping an awful lot of ass against some of the, I don't want to say younger talent, but newer talent. Because Jody Threat's very experienced, but when she popped up on TV, she got that ass whipped. Skye Blue is so good. She's like, you can tell that she grew up in watching like the women's revolution era of pro wrestling, which I think is very cool because that's when the in-ring started to get really, really great on TV. So like a lot of her inspirations seem like they were the Becky, Sasha, Bailey and Charlotte, who's I don't want to speak for her, but it seems like it in the ring because a lot of the things that you see from her from an in-ring standpoint don't seem to be motivated by the Divas era stuff. Maybe I'm wrong by that, but at least watching the in-ring, it's really good. There are sometimes, like when blocking a punch, there's a little wasted motion, but then when she delivers a punch, there's no wasted motion. And I really, really like that. But I'll tell you what I also like. I like Ruby Soho, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, getting to the finals again.
Yeah.
At least that's something she can hang her hat on from this character standpoint. And honestly, at this point, I kind of want her to win it. Would I be upset if Willow won it? Hell nah. But I look at Athena and Willow, and I'm like, well, they've kind of had something recently.
Right.
Athena's won the ROH title. Willow won the New Japan title. There you go. Skye Samuel says Skye has mentioned AJ Lee and Bayley as an influence. I think AJ Lee is a huge reason the women's revolution happened, because she proved that a woman could dominate that show from a character standpoint and do really, really well. But I'm glad Ruby won here, and I thought that Sky Blue did a great job.
She did a great job. She sold the knee like crazy. That was excellent. I thought she was going to tap out in the knee that single leg, and I'm glad that they extended it to where they did. Also, like Ruby blatantly cheated to beat Willow, but in this she just outsmarted Sky Blue.
Yeah.
Which I honestly think is a really cool thing listen, we know now that they have no problem bringing up stuff from a year ago in a tournament to say, hey, this is feeding into their match tonight. So if Ruby tries something like that on Skye in a year and Skye isn't outsmarted by it, then we see the character growth. I thought this was excellent. I liked that Ruby didn't rely on the other outcasts to beat Sky Blue. I'm sorry, not Willow. Who'd she beat in the first round? Britt. Sorry, Britt.
Yes, and that's a big win.
That's a big win. And if, as it seems, especially since they had added the stipulation to the Athena Willow match, that if Willow beats Athena in this non-title match for Athena's title, then she gets a title match for Athena's title. Yeah. So in two ways, one, Ruby winning tonight, and also that extra stipulation for the ROH title, it does feel very, very obvious that Willow's going to win this next match with Athena. But that's fine, because I love the idea of the history between Willow and Ruby, which never really got addressed when Ruby joined the Outcasts, because 6 weeks before that, she and Willow were teaming up all the time and were good friends. So I love that there's that involved too. This should be a really good one in the finals of that tournament for the women.
Very excited for that. Albert says, I know Ruby's the heel, but has carried the Outcast, worked her butt off in the ring, and deserves to win the Owen Cup. Albert, I'm with you. I would love that. And like I said, Athena's been ROH champ. Willow has won the New Japan title recently and of course dropped it. But I would really like to see that.
Yeah.
Coy Stalling says, OC Wrestler of the Year. Okay, so last year in the Fightful Awards, there was a surprise winner with Singles Wrestler of the Year. And we're talking about Singles In-Ring Wrestler of the Year. Dax Harwood won.
Yeah.
And he had an incredible breakout year. I think that there's a possibility that OC could win, but man, Will Ospreay's going to be tough to beat.
OC is a top 3 guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where, like, I don't know that he'll beat somebody like an Ospreay. But like he's got to have it just for the wide breadth of people that he has faced and put on like great 15 to 20 minute matches with, and for the continuity of his reign. Like, listen, I'm kind of ready for that reign to end, only because I don't want to see it outstay its welcome. It's still good now. If it goes on another 6 months, we might look at it as not as great as it has been. But I don't want to take anything away from OC as part of it, because it's kind of crazy how he's carried individual injuries from individual matches through his entire reign. Like, he's working with a beat up hand. That happened when he punched the trios belt when he had his match with Murphy like weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Like he's carrying individual things he's banged up by from specific moments in specific matches weeks and months ago. That's really great stuff.
Brent Lockman says, what is the hang up with putting any effort into Battle of the Belts? It's really weird at this point. Yeah. Listen, I have not had a bit of interest in Battle of the Belts since number 1.
Right.
Period. I haven't given a damn about it.
The thing of it is, for this one, is you have Collision as the lead-in. Battle of the Belts is also going live, like right afterwards. So you have the opportunity to like make things interesting by, it's live. And as far as I can tell, there's been one match announced for it, which is Luchasaurus versus Shawn Spears. Yep. So to me, that seems like we're going to get maybe something that happens on Collision immediately added to the Battle of the Belt card for later that night. Kind of a thing, another title match that happens. I don't know, but it feels very odd to me that thing is happening in a couple of days and we don't know anything other than one match on it.
I'll ask Iridian, Cresta, and Rick what they want to do there. If they want to do like a watch-along, a pseudo watch-along during the Collision post-show, they'll be able to do that. But, guys, make sure you tune in every Saturday after Collision. We have a great team there. Riccicino, Iridian Fierro, and Cresta just do a great job. And I love to swing by there on like I did this past week, like I did the first episode, and give you guys exclusive news. I've been doing that on SmackDown quite a bit because that show is white hot in the ratings right now. Like people are loving it. So I swing by there with Kate and Alexis, and quite honestly, I do Kate's job for her a lot because her internet doesn't work. So I'm surprised that I'm surprised she could type this full comment without her internet dropping, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, let's talk about one of the best goddamn things going in pro wrestling right now.
Yes, please.
MJF and Adam Cole. I don't care how many times they tease the MJF babyface run. I'll like it every time. I will enjoy it every single time. Because we know he's a piece of shit. Everybody knows he's a piece of shit. Adam Cole is not getting fooled by this, no matter what he does. And you want to know how I know? Because we've watched Adam Cole be an incredible piece of shit in the past as well.
Sure.
Be very sincere as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is really, really great. Adam Cole, MJF, hanging out again, Alex. I loved this.
Doing shots at the bar. And then MJF, 2 for you and 2 for me of these 4 girls who walk by.
Tries to get him to cheat on Britt Baker on TV.
Is it because the camera's here? Because I can get that guy out of here, no problem. Is that all right?
And I love that later on, Britt is blowing his phone up.
Yeah, that's great. Love that. But I did also like, ladies, which of you would like to accompany the champion to El Baño?
He comes back zipping up his pants.
Yes, he does. He does. So the hangout thing is fun. I mean, the playing the video games is the best because we get to see what I love about what I love
this
about MJF
seems like something you'd be covering on Tuesday night, Alex.
It does. But this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. No, that's not. What I love about MJF is that we've seen him do the fake babyface thing so often, and every time he pulls out I never played video games with anybody before. So you gotta have friends to do that. And I'm like, MJF, like, oh no, you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me this time.
So let's talk about that. Adam Cole's like, I'll wear the shirt if you do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then we cut to it, and it's them playing video games. Oh, it's so good. And I love that Adam Cole's like, your stats are great. There are no stats on that game. No. There are none. Everybody's even. You could do intergender. It is a fighting game. That's what it is. And a very, very fun multiplayer game. I'll be streaming it sometime soon. But they play and they win the tag team titles together on AEW Fight Forever against FTR.
By hitting the big rig. by hitting the old shatter machine too.
The shatter machine. Oh, this is so much fun.
I saw somebody that said, "Listen, I don't know what your plans were going into this thing, but pull the trigger on them, put the belts on them, let them go on a really fun, insincere babyface 2-man power trip type of thing, just for a few months, because then you inevitably have them losing the titles and Adam Cole versus MJF again. Like, you could still do that."
Listen, I want Adam Cole helping MJF retain his title.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Brent Lockman says MJF is Eric Cartman.
Yes.
I can't, you know what? I can't think of a better heel that has lasted 20 plus years
That's true.
on TV and is still going today than Eric Cartman. And he ain't never turned babyface for longer than a week.
I need MJF to pull out a Adam, I'm seriously. Just give me a seriously in there. I'm seriously, and I'll know that he's got the Cartman in him. I know it.
And as you mentioned, MJF said video games are a lot more fun when you're playing with a friend or when you're playing with somebody. And Adam Cole, who is a Twitch streamer,
right,
is like, never played a multiplayer game before.
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, you gotta have friends for that.
Gotta have friends for that."
And Adam Cole played this off so
good.
well. It's so cheesy.
It's so cheesy.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. This is the playing on my basic emotions.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Then they have the match. But before that, Angel says, for the best MJF turn, Cole really needs to matter to MJF. Yeah. I agree. I want them going out to dinner with like Britt and Adam Cole. I want Britt maybe even doing a double date thing. See,
yeah.
If Chelsea or Deanna were outwardly public and single, that would be hilarious.
Right. Yes.
Like if she was like, she hooked him up with one of her friends in the industry.
Yeah.
That would be very, very fun to watch, like a double date there. And it's somebody we were familiar with. Yes. That would be very, very funny. Which, I mean, there could be somebody.
Could be.
But just, this would be very funny to watch. Parker Hines says, correct me if I'm wrong, MJF and Cole performed a shatter machine on the Fight Forever game. That match will hump. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to see MJF and Cole versus FTR. Also because MJF and Dax don't like each other, and I want to see them working together just out of the, oh, my gosh. Of course. A double date with Rebel.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, my God.
I also... Now, I do want to see them versus FTR. I do. But I think I'd rather see them versus BCG if Bullet Club Gold pulls out the victory, just because of the added Adam Cole and Jay White connection, that from a year ago, where like he was like, "Hey, you're here to be my best friend, right?" And Jay White's like, "No, I'm here to have a triple threat with you and Kota and Kazuchika Okada." Like there's been some good stuff there. I also love the idea of them working really babyface against two like absolute heels. There's also fun stuff there for them to do work for FTR. FTR's trying to be like good, but MJF just keeps pissing off Dax, so he works heel the whole match. That could be fun too. There's a lot of great stuff.
So there was a segment backstage where Roderick Strong is still in his neck brace. And he's like, man, are you really starting to like this guy? And listen, I don't think Adam is. I think Adam is still playing this whole thing like a fiddle. Britt's calling him. MJF's calling him saying, I just saw Brian Cage backstage. I've got the flu.
Yes.
I love this. I love little things like that, like them having MJF put over Brian Cage. I can tell you guys this, when I was reporting a lot about Brian Cage's contract, MJF was one of those guys that was telling management, we need to keep him. We need him. There, something can be found in him. And guess what? They found it the last 2 weeks.
They found it.
Big Bill, Brian Cage is a hit. This is a hit. I love Lee Moriarty, but listen, I think that the Cage Lee Moriarty team,
Mhm.
I think Lee Moriarty is a lot better on his own,
Mhm.
or maybe teaming up with Daniel Garcia in the future,
Sure.
doing
Sure.
something like that. I would love to have them as like a stretching crew, just like two
Right.
guys that one up each other with how violent their submissions can be. I
Yeah.
think that would be really cool because Brian Cage and Big Bill are a hit, and this
Yeah.
match was a hit.
Yeah.
Brent Lockman says, Bill and Brian's excellent swole venture are an awesome team and need to continue. Alex, sirloin beef sons of bitches doing it. This is a far cry from Big Cass beating up a little person in a Bryan Danielson feud and getting fired, man.
Yes. Yes. It is. Big Bill has shown he's grown so much since then. Not grown as in you can't teach that grown, but like as a person, which also you can't teach. So there you go. But I think that maybe you keep these two in your back pocket to bring them back together here in a few months, because I do legitimately think that Cage with Leona and Khan is a great trio in ROH. Let that finish its run. At the same time, you're planting seeds for Big Bill and Lee to split up, and then once everything's all done its thing, then you can bring these two guys back together. They already have a connection. What I loved about this is this was a parody of a wrestling match done to perfection. This was art. MJF coming in and getting the crowd to cheer for a body slam and then going for it and immediately dropping to his knees screaming, "Mother of God!" I cackled on my couch. And this was so great. They hit all the spots of the two undersized dude against the two bigger guys with all of the added stuff of the double clothesline and everything. Everything about this was pitch perfect.
There is no less is more guy than MJF. He can get everything over. Everything over. Ronald Ginsburg says it's bad MJF is taking all the offense in the tag match. No, I mean, you got to look at Adam Cole. Adam Cole came back from a very, very serious concussion. And after their 30-minute match, there were concerns that he might have another one, that he might be banged up. So I think this is good. It buys them some time, all that good stuff too. Yeah. But this was great. Like, this was so good. He got them chanting double clothesline after this. Mm-hmm. Tim McFall says, the AC MJF story is absolute gold. Getting clotheslines and body slams over. So basic, but so awesome. Kind of hope Jay and Juice beat FTR so they face them for the titles. It would be brilliant. Yeah. I mean, I would not be opposed to Bullet Club Gold against Adam Cole and MJF. Either one of those teams, especially after what I've seen. Collision, so far, the winners of Collision are Juice Robinson and Switchblade Jay White, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Lord Zypher says, seems pretty obvious. They're going to win the tag tourney. Does that increase or decrease Bullet Club Gold's chances of winning this Saturday? I would say increases based on some of the real-life animosity that existed between Dax and MJF. But you know what? Dax and MJF are also pros. And I ain't ever heard MJF or Dax say, in my experience, that they wouldn't work with somebody.
No, I think that there's an excellent opportunity for that true heels versus these fake baby faces and making that work. But also there's so much intrigue around FTR and this weird thing that CM Punk has with MJF of like, okay, Max, you want the real belt? Come find me. Like there's all this interesting stuff there. I wouldn't be opposed to either one of them, but I do love that they specifically had them beating FTR in the video game with the big rig, which, man, I hope they hit that spot if they actually wrestle. I hope Cole and MJF hit the big rig on FTR. I don't know if they win the match with it, but that would be an amazing near fall.
What else do we got here? Lots of super chats, lots of humper chats. Keep them rolling in, my friends. Yes, boy says, who would you book as the next AEW tag champs? Well, if not FTR, I think Bullet Club Gold. I think they've got a little something special
they do
there.
Yeah.
But honestly, if not them, I think Big Bill and Brian Cage are very, very special as a mow them down team right now. I think they should like do tag squash matches against established talent. What I saw out of them was a lot of people saying, don't like Brian Cage. Big Bill's okay. Them together. Wow. They found what worked with those two guys. You look at those two guys, you're like, something will work.
Right.
Well, as it turns out, Tony Khan's just really good at putting teams together.
I mean, if Bullet Club Gold doesn't win against FTR, I'm serious. I want to see MJF and Adam Cole somehow beat FTR, and this becomes the thing of Adam Cole was put in this tag team with MJF after having that time limit draw and wanting a rematch with MJF. The thing about this is MJF, as long as he stays with Adam Cole and keeps Adam Cole happy, he never has to face Adam Cole again. And that's a really cool extra thing of it. Like keeping the tag belts on him, that might be something really great. But
that is a motivation of his, is a guy that he couldn't beat, he doesn't have to face.
I also want to call to attention to a specific thing they're doing in the matches where each guy is learning from the other in the match. Like specifically tonight, we had MJF do the eye poke to get around to make a hot tag, and Adam Cole got his foot grabbed by Brian Cage and got out of it with the eye poke, which is not something I've seen him do. And that was that MJF on the apron looked to the crowd like, he's my best friend. He's doing my moves. Like this is so good, man. I love it.
Trey Cash says MJF got a body slam and double clothesline over. He's on a different level. Yeah,
he hit that body slam and dropped straight down to the mat like he was dead.
Man,
oh my God.
If Big Bill would have rolled over and put a arm on him, he might have won the match after that.
He should have done it. He should have rolled over, put a hand on him, and had MJF kick out at 2.99. What a near fall. What a near fall.
It would have been great. Trey Cash, you're always so generous to us. But yeah, after the match, they're chanting double clothesline.
Yes.
It's so corny. And like, I kind of wanted to see it on Big Bill, where he either takes it and sells it. If you want to go look at a hilarious sell. The Rock selling a clothesline from CM Punk on like Raw 1000, where he acted like he got blasted in the chest with a shotgun. He's like this. CM Punk, 205 pounds at that point, probably Z-packed up, shitting his pants during his matches. And he's just like,
The fact that they wanted to do the double clothesline to Cage, but he got away from it. And then Big Bill did his own double clotheslining both of them at the same time with his one clothesline. Like when they pulled that out as a little little swerve to the crowd, because the crowd was ready for the clothesline. What they got was the opposite of that. I was like, the people putting this thing together, they know exactly what they're doing, and all of the tropes have been perfectly tuned to make this thing work. This was one of my favorite matches I've seen in the last 5 years, just because of how perfectly everything came together. I loved it.
Tom LaValle says, could FTR turn heel alongside CM Punk? I think that group will be I always call them choose your own adventures. Depending on who they face at any given time, they will be face or heel.
Right. I think there's a possibility of that. I think the best thing is CM Punk turning heel on FTR, like aligning with Bullet Club Gold to cost FTR the belts is the biggest heel thing they could do with Punk right now. I don't know that they're going to do that, but that's my thing I'm pulling for on Saturday is a huge moment where we see CM Punk align with Jay White and Bullet Club Gold over FTR.
1LT Photo says, as much as I love FTR, strap Bullet Club Gold. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I really like both of them. I'm legitimately interested to see how things go, because what I could see is FTR beat Bullet Club Gold 2 falls to 1, and then it's effectively 2 falls to 2 between the two teams.
Right.
And they do it again sometimes. Sawyer says, Cole and MJF, my favorite odd couple story since Riddle and Pete Dunne in NXT's Dusty Classic. I like this more than that, and I really liked that an awful lot.
Yeah.
Trey Cash says he needs a buddy cop movie more than ever, or buddy comedy movie more than ever. And with his in-ring skill and entertaining mic skills, do you think in 10, 15 years we're calling MJF the GOAT? Love you guys. I think he would need to put in about 20 to be considered that, because there's an awful lot you got to go up against. You got to go up against a good, it depends on what the GOAT status is, but I think he could absolutely put himself in the conversation, considering how young he was when he started, how quickly he got to the top, how consistently entertaining he's been able to make things. There were points where it looked like, oh, well, we know MJF's going to hold this title for a year. So how will they keep it interesting? They've kept it interesting the whole time. He's got a unique knack of doing that, Alex.
Yeah, I also, there's just other stuff about him as a performer outside of all the wrestling stuff, even the promo stuff. The knowing exactly how to play these moments in this match of him walking up the ramp and like, I don't think I can do this, buddy. Look at the size of him. Like being able to play all of these moments that have felt so pat watching them for so many years, because people are playing them and they're just walking through he's fully playing them, doing it ironically, and he's better at it than most people I've seen do these moments. He's really, really got an instinct for all of the little nuances about what it is to be a pro wrestler. And I'm more and more intrigued by that side of him than I am by anything else.
And Simmons says best part of MJF and Cole is MJF having small, vulnerable moments, but knowing Cole secretly can't help out, but self-implode on himself. Yeah, so there's just enough of it that makes you go, is he being genuine?
Yeah.
Does Adam Cole really trust him? Bald Metal Dave says the MJF Cole feud is great. It's ridiculous and entertaining. Looking forward to see who screws who first. Hopefully we get the match at Wembley. Buddy, we might get FTR versus Cole and MJF at Wembley. And then if they fail at that match, then their match at All Out type of thing.
Yeah, possibly.
We got Sawyer saying, I want whatever booking gets me more Juice Robinson talking on my TV each week. He's great. He's really, really great. Bizarro Big L says, damn, Sean, doesn't Reg have enough issues considering he has to watch his back after that Athena interview? Only MJF can pump up a basic move to blow a crowd. They need to keep Zangief, Cage, and Big Bill as a team. Lariat Powerbomb needs a name. It was such an incredible move, and one that just like you don't see a standing lariat with a powerbomb because he's so big. It's brilliant.
I saw that. I saw the clip of it before I watched Rampage, and I had to watch it in context. It was better in context, but like just the idea of watching that and going like, why have this is brilliant. Like you lariat a man off a guy's shoulders while the guy power bombs him. That's a brilliant big man tag team wrestling.
Michael Compton says, what if Gold wins, then Cole and Gold all turn on MJF? So I don't hate that. I actually really don't hate that. Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to get the Undisputed Era reunion in AEW. Like I've held out hope for it. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's ever going to match up the right way. Yeah. So Adam Cole leaning back into Bullet Club isn't something that I would necessarily hate. Right. But I wonder if it's not easy to make really, really, really over baby faces in AEW or in wrestling. And right now, WWE and AEW both have a lot of really over baby faces.
Yeah.
We've got Tim McFall saying Alex has been way too happy and we haven't even got to Ibushi. We need to get his thoughts on Jericho Komander to balance things out. Alex missed that segment. He was not here for that part of the review. So let's talk about Kota Ibushi and Pac instead.
Yeah. Yes, let's do that. That'd be nice.
Well, it was revealed. We got Don Callis coming out. We got Kenny Omega coming out. BCC go to beat down Kenny Omega. And they've got him wrapped around. They're gonna stomp on his throat with a chair. And Moxley goes, any final words? And Kenny goes, look at the screen. Kota Ibushi is coming. FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business.
Right.
Reported that Kota Ibushi would be joining. But before that, Pac showed up. FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business today on Rec Spec. I said, I think it's going to be Pac. People said, why? I said, well, think about the last time Pac was on TV.
Oh, no, it's perfect.
They broke his face.
Yeah.
Alex.
They did. Or,
I love it.
As Pac called it, you broke my nose bone. Like, yeah, yeah, that's good.
People asking, why didn't Ibushi show up? Well, right after this show, Kenny Omega said, hey, just so you guys know, almost everybody here had like 12 to 20 hour travel days to get here.
Yeah.
Kota Ibushi ain't going to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
No.
They say Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and he'd say, who sneezed? He ain't going there. Oh my God!
How many
people
connecting flights from Tokyo to Saskatoon? I'm going to guess minimum 6.
Brother, people asking if it's all elite or a short-term run. Right now, I believe it's a short-term run. He hasn't been keen on signing contracts for a long time. Then he signed one with New Japan. And how did that go? It wasn't Ibushi. It was a video of Ibushi.
Yep.
But King of the North says Kota Ibushi is coming, and so did I. Tristis says Pac did 3,000 sit-ups every day when he was gone. Drew Douglas, my good friend, says, I haven't been this excited for Ibushi since the Bengals beat the Ravens in the playoffs. I was there right next to Drew Douglas as we saw that beautiful rejection from Sam Hubbard. I think these are two extremely appropriate surprises for this. Of course, it would have been great to have Bryan Danielson, but I think Pac fits that very well. And the great thing is, Alex, they had a good number 2 option. If Chris Hero were to have wrestled, that would have made an awful lot of sense too.
Sure.
But I love this.
I love this because Pac doesn't need a lot of prompting by Don Callis to go after Kenny. Like, hey, so we need a 5th guy because it doesn't look like Jericho is willing to join up because Jake Hager made him sad. Do you want to like decide to be part of our team and beat up Kenny Omega? And Pac's just like, say less. Like, I absolutely am going to do that. That sounds great. It makes sense for him why he would go after Kenny Omega and the Elite, but and also why the BCC would say, yeah, this guy kind of fits our deal. He loves brutalizing people. So, yeah, let's just do some more of that.
Christopher Hart says, any idea about the New Japan, how New Japan feels about Kota and AEW? Notice they didn't use his theme. Is it a per appearance deal? Based on what I've heard now, I'll find out more tonight, I'm sure. I think it's per appearance. Kota Ibushi said that he and New Japan were on decent terms. And I mean, I know there was other stuff going on with Kota Ibushi that's for him to talk about. But I think it's probably best for all that this waited until after they mended the fences.
Yeah. Yes.
Arza says, I like all of Kenny's segments. They're just produced like a shonen anime. I don't know what shonen is, but yeah, I mean, he's very clearly heavily influenced, and I'm very excited for the Ibushi thing because this adds an awful lot to just the roster in general, to potential tag teams, to some expanding the universe level stuff.
Right.
And you want to get this in, man. Kota Ibushi's 41 years old. He ain't getting any younger. He can still do incredible stuff. Let's do it. Absolutely. Jordan Scott says, imagine if MJF and Cole win it all in and one of them turns, then have them turn on the biggest stage yet. The heat would be huge, would mess the titles up, though. Yeah, I don't think that you necessarily have them turn if they win the titles. I don't think you screw up the tag title situation just to do that, unless there's a sensible reason for it.
No, I don't think they should win the titles and then immediately play. If they don't win the titles, have them win the titles and play it out. Like, have them win the titles. If FTR beats Bullet Club Gold, then they say they already have it played out when it's going to be in Hartford on a specific date, and I forget what date it is, but where MJF and Cole would face FTR. Yeah. And have them win the titles there and carry them into All In. They can lose the titles there after like a 6-week reign, and then implode after they lose. But the one thing I would like to actually see is for them to turn on each other at the same time, like they both were planning something. So each guy like brought a different weapon they hid under the ring. Like, and it happened to be in the same spot, and they were like, "Wait, you and I, yeah, no, this was never going to work. Like, them knowing each other too well would be kind of fun too.
Everybody has fun when people get turned on at the same time, as Alex
True.
suggests.
Yeah.
Guys, please leave a thumbs up on this video. As I mentioned earlier, we have a short interview with Pretty Deadly coming up on Friday from Money in the Bank weekend. I will be heading to Atlanta next week to do some work, and then back in Detroit for SummerSlam to do media and all that good stuff. But we are marching towards 100,000 subscribers. My birthday is August 30th. I so badly want to get to 100,000 subscribers by then. It would mean an awful lot. We have overcome our channel being shut down before, being like hidden by a lot of things, being messed with. The algorithm messed with us big time. There were a lot of things like that, but we've got shorts that we are doing a lot more of, like clips from the shows. You can also always check out Fightful Scraps for interview clips and the like. But I've got a new series coming out, a short series that'll appear on Instagram, our TikTok, probably Facebook, Threads, Twitter, and all that, but especially here at youtube.com/Fightful on Shorts. It's called Real Fights in Pro Wrestling, where we give you bite-sized recountings of real fights. I'm going to be doing a bunch of these series for you guys to check out. Very, very excited about that. In Simmons wraps us up and says, crowd wasn't excited enough to me for Pac returning in the Ibushi video, but listen, I need Ibushi versus Takeshita. In Simmons, this was just not a big crowd. Early on, I noted how dark they shot it, and I had people saying, well, it's a very, very light crowd. Like, it's very just not a good one, and that's unfortunate. But next week, I think they'll be doing all right, Alex.
I think so too. I think it was cool that they decided to like run a bunch of shows in Canada, but it does feel like there's not the appetite for live wrestling there. I think mainly because it's the summertime and everyone in Canada just wants to be outside.
Sure. And as of, let's see, WrestleTix, as of a week ago, they had opened up upper deck sections, and they had sold about 5,700 tickets, and they had set up for 8,200. Now, this is a nice change because just a few days before that, their setup was 6,300. So they added 2,000 seats for this show. And then a week before that, they had opened up 1,200 more seats for that. Wow. So very good movement there. Hopefully this is sort of that renaissance. Wrestling right now, we talked about it on the List and You Boy today. Wrestling's hot, man. WWE is doing killer numbers. Great viewership numbers, great attendance numbers. They are about to both get big media rights deals. Wish AEW was doing better by live attendance, but buddy, 75,000 distributed for a show next month.
Yeah.
That's special. We are in a special time for pro wrestling. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Alex, tell the people what you got going on.
Well, what I got going on now is figuring out what happened to my computer that it completely turned into a brick. But after that, hopefully, if that works, then this weekend we'll be doing a something. I'm not sure if I'm going to do Friday or Saturday, but I'll let you guys know for SmackDown, Rampage, and this huge thing we got going on Saturday. So probably a Saturday, a Sour Grap show covering everything that's happened over the weekend. Monday, of course, doing the Raw review with Miss Kayfabe. Tuesday on this channel doing NXT with Miss Kayfabe. This Friday on Know Your News on our Get the Flick Out of Here show, we're reviewing Mr. Nanny, starring Hulk Hogan.
Brother, pun intended.
Pun intended. So I have never seen this. This was a Kate. This was a Kate thing. She told me I had to watch it, so I'm going to.
Did you all ever watch Wrong Side of Town?
No, we have not watched that.
Oh my God.
No.
You all have to watch Wrong Side of Town.
I want to do like a sister show where we only review movies that star wrestlers.
Oh, well, man, like just completely separate of this would work for that.
Yeah?
I mean, for those who have never watched Wrong Side of Town, it came out in 2010 and prominently features Batista, Rob Van Dam, and Ja Rule on the cover. And it is very much a starring Rob Van Dam movie, but that's not it. Yeah. Stormy Daniels is in this movie.
Wow.
Omarion. And if you go, who the hell? Why does Omarion sound familiar? He was in B2K. But Viscera, King Mabel makes an
Wow.
appearance
Wow.
in this
That's big.
movie.
That's big.
It's big. It's a
Literally big.
horrible movie. But Alex,
Yeah.
have you heard the infamous pick a hand story?
No.
Where supposedly Rob Van Dam and ECW looked at Taz and said, pick a hand. And Taz went, what? And he goes, pick a hand. And Taz said left. And then he punched him with his left hand.
Wow.
It plays out in this movie.
Great stuff.
Guys, thank you all so much. Check out Listing Your Boy today. We really are in our wheelhouse talking about the business of pro wrestling and how rights fee deals are going to happen. FightfulSelect.com reported today WBD is in favor and pushing for an expanded pay-per-view schedule. That's very pertinent news. Please support original reporting. Until next time, guys, we're out.